life. Thank you guys for tuning in with us. It is Wednesday, hump day.
Yes.
We are in the building right here at the hottest live radio station.
No doubt. And first and foremost, this is our third show. So we want to thank everybody who's been tuned in so far. We know you guys are familiar with the hottest live radio. And so we're new to the family. And thank you. Our listenership has went up the last 2 weeks. And we hope to continue that trend tonight. So just to all the listeners out there of the hottest live nation, thank you guys so much. And we're definitely happy to be here and to serve y'all.
Right. Oh my gosh, this has been such a great experience. And we're looking forward to more great times with you guys here on the hottest live. You good? It's good?
We have a little feedback. Bear with us, y'all. We're trying some new mics out. Thanks to Coach Nelly B.
Oh my gosh, yo, he is not gonna let me live this down. Shout out to all the Facebook Live followers. It's because of y'all. We love y'all as well, and we don't want to leave y'all out. So, to all the hottest live family and our Facebook listeners, thank you guys for tuning in. We are excited, of course, to be with you guys one more time.
Yes. And by all means, please go out and download the hottest live radio app. Yes. You can get that on your Google Play Store or your iTunes App Store. Check us out on there. You can also, like Nelly said, check us out on the Get Moxie Facebook Live feed.
Go ahead.
And you can call us if you want to participate in tonight's show at 302-272-9772. We're open for all feedback, arguments, disagreements, and love. So however you feel like you want to participate, let us know. We here.
Absolutely. And don't forget, it's still early in the game. We want to get our followers up. We want to get our listeners up. Make sure you share tonight's show with your lovers, your haters, your dogs, or the players, all of them. So everybody join us tonight as we have this invigorating, solution-focused conversation tonight. I'm excited to talk about tonight's topic.
Yes. But before we do that, just want to get into some, how's your week? Let's talk to the people. Tell them a little, what's going on with you, Coach Nelly B?
Well, it's spring break, so my baby's home all week. Lord have mercy. And as much as I love him, okay, it's time to go back to school. Real talk.
Well, I'm not necessarily on that because I work at a school and I'm on spring break too. So I'm in no hurry.
Nah.
I'm in no hurry, but I've got to finish out this week by traveling to the A. To Atlanta Friday morning, so then we'll be back Sunday, and then back to business. I guess.
To business, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's spring break, and I mean, it was cool. I'm not gonna lie because everybody who knows me knows that I stay running.
Mm-hmm.
But I was able to take off 2 days of work this week, Monday and Tuesday, and actually just relax.
Okay.
But the crazy part is this. Monday, I tried to lay in my bed till about 11. My body started hurting around 8:30.
Wow.
Like, my body was like, nah, we can't even do it.
Your mind was telling you no.
Right.
But your body.
Exactly. So, but I was able to sit around and not really have to rush out the house. So it was cool. It was real cool.
It is good. You know what, as adults, we need that time to recharge. And
Absolutely.
Just not to, I like those days when I don't have to do anything and I don't have to be anywhere. Exactly. Anything I do is because I just feel like doing it.
You choosing to do it.
And we don't get those enough as adults because, you got kids, you got spouses, you got people who need things from you.
Right.
All the damn time.
All the time.
So, yeah.
But yeah, so that's been my week. It's been pretty good. What about you? You just been home all week?
I've been home chilling. I went to the movies today. Just doing the daddy thing, the daddy daycare thing. Rocking with my kid. And we saw Boss Baby today.
I did see that. That was
first time I ever went to a kids movie and I didn't fall asleep.
Wow.
I get my best sleep in the movie theater. So it's been cool, man. It's not over yet. A couple of more days to enjoy, and then back to business.
All right, though. Okay, cool. Well,
yeah.
Right quick, let me just shout out all the Facebook Live followers. If you are listening on the hottest live radio, you can also find us on Get Moxie, the Facebook page on Facebook. Shout out to Corey Wilkerson. Thank you for tuning in, love. Sherelle, Covered by the Blood. Thank you for tuning in. Pauline Weir, thank you for tuning in. DK Johnson, thank you for tuning in. Akeisha, shout out to Akeisha Presley. Stucky.
Yes, special shout out to her. She's really stepped up in a big way for us.
Absolutely.
And helping us promo-wise and giving us some direction. So, Keisha, thanks,
Shout out to Keisha, making things happen. Shout out to JF Clay. Thank you for tuning in, sir. He says the energy is flowing tonight. You all are closer together.
We will be closer, but her mic might go crazy if I
Right.
get a little closer.
That's what happened when you're in a legit studio, JF. When you're in a legit studio, we can't be that close. Shout out to Meek Stewart, Gwyneth Martin, Carl Fairbanks. Thank you all for tuning in. Renee Rivas, hey honey, how are you? Ab is in the building.
What up, Ab?
Hey
Lover?
God, we were just talking about you.
What up, Ab?
We miss you, Ab. We're gonna come back to the studio too.
Word.
Shout out to Dwight Johnson. Thank you for tuning in. Marlena Green, thank you for tuning in.
Did you see me in church, Marlena?
Oh, Lord.
Y'all didn't let me sing,
Have
but it's okay.
mercy. Shout out to Chantel Whitehurst, my old roommate. Thank you for tuning in, love. If you're just tuning in, you are now joining us here on Get My Tea Lifestyle Talk Show, where we are in the Black Cat Studios, our new home.
And before we get started on, and before we even share the topic with you, if you follow us on Facebook, you already know what the topic is. But I wanted to just real quick touch on a couple of things that have happened within the last 5 to 6 days. Starting with the gentleman in Cleveland, Ohio.
So if we just to let you know where we're going at this point is our new What's Hot and What's Not segment.
So we're kind of in the What's Not part of the What's Hot and What's Not section. But yeah, it's been a lot of things going on here in this world. The older gentleman in Cleveland, Ohio, was shot on Facebook Live.
Yes.
By Steven Stevens.
Mm-hmm.
Very tragic. Our condolences definitely go out to the family. As I told someone on Facebook, I have affinity for the elderly, and to me, that hurt my feelings. You know what I mean? And which brings us back to kind of what we always talk about. If you're going through something and you need help, by all means, talk to somebody, because that was just such an unnecessary, tragic thing to happen. And then, in my mind, he was even more of a coward and he killed himself in the end. You know, maybe justice was served depending on how you feel about it. Maybe it wasn't. Some people, but very tragic thing happened, and my condolences to Mr. Godwin. Mr. Godwin's family. So,
well, the unfortunate part, and this is something my brother and I were talking about, is that he actually asked for help. Believe it or not, with him calling his mom, and I'm like, we don't know the history or the dynamics of the family, so we really don't understand how she took him. When he said he was suicidal or having these thoughts. But the reality is we can't take stuff like that lightly.
Absolutely.
Because clearly he was asking for help. And as much as, people are saying he's a coward and all of this, I get that. And what he did was absolutely selfish, unjustifiable. But he asked for help. He did.
Well, you know what? As an adult, if you're asking for help in one place and you don't get it, then you move on. There are a lot of resources in every community, and he worked with children. So I'm not gonna excuse him doing what he did because he asked for help in one place and didn't get it.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, I totally agree because there's resources everywhere. Right. However,
hey, May Petty, Mississippi in the building.
Whenever you're not in the right frame of mind, and you already know because we deal with this at work every day.
Right.
When you're not in the right frame of mind, you're not thinking, okay, I can't get help here. Let me go here. The rationality or the rational thinking is not there. That could have been his last, cry for help, was crying for mom. And he even said it during one phone call I was watching his feed when he was alive. He called one of his boys and was like, I called y'all, talking to his Qs, his brothers, his bros. He said, I called y'all, but y'all ain't take me seriously. So, I mean, I'm not justifying his behaviors, but it's just going to show, we keep talking about we need to be woke. We need to even be woke when it comes to that. Those type of situations.
J.F. Clay says it's a psychosis in the black community we have been discussing. Mm-hmm. And he is absolutely right. As we know better, we have to do better. And just pay attention to the signs of people around us. If a person, we see weird stuff on Facebook all the time. Mm-hmm. And we think a person, maybe they're being funny. Maybe we really have to start paying attention and, reaching out to people when they seem to be in distress.
Right. Or if they're asking for help, take it seriously.
Right.
It's unfortunate what happened. And if he really did kill them other 13 people, but hopefully it won't happen.
Hopefully that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I definitely just wanted to touch on that. That's a What's Not hot in our What's Hot, What's Not segment. It's been such a downer. What's hot? What's going on, Nelly?
What's hot? Serena's pregnant.
So
that's hot.
That's hot.
That's hot.
Good for her. Congratulations, Serena Williams. She married. She with a white dude, right?
She's engaged, I think.
To a white guy.
Right now. Yeah, to a white guy. Mm-hmm.
So, ladies, let this be a lesson to you.
Oh Lord.
You can be with someone of a different race and still be a baby mama.
Well, she's a fiance.
Yeah, AKA. if she don't have that ring on, if she's not married by the time that baby's here.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just saying,
No,
because the brothers get a bad rap for you got these baby mamas, but you'll go be a baby mama for a white dude.
Right.
I mean, I'm just saying. No.
Valid point.
Congratulations to Serena Williams and the white dude.
There you go.
Whatever his name is. I can't believe Common let that get away.
No, wasn't she with Drake at one point too?
I think, Drake. That was just going to be a hot minute. Right. He's just breezing through the hit and he out.
That's it.
Pretty much. That's what it is with Drake. And if you give him some, you know that. He has relationship ADD.
Does he?
Shout out to Meek Stewart.
How you gonna put her on blast like that?
No, I just saw her on the feed. It just happens. Her name happens to come after I said.
Eli is shout out.
Relationship ADD. Nah, that's my people. What up, Meek? Just messing
shout
with
you. Shout out to Dano, right? Thank you for tuning in. He is crazy. All right, do we got any more? What's hot? What's not? What's the football player that just committed suicide?
That's not. I don't even want to give him no light.
Okay.
Because justice was served, as far as I'm concerned. I know somebody might be listening, saying, that's ignorant, that's disrespectful, but you can't be a gangster and a football player.
These things, can be both.
You can for a minute, but it's gonna come to an end.
Or catch up with you.
Everything catches up with you. So. Yeah, that's what it is. And if you're listening, you're tuning in to Get Moxie, the Lifestyle Talk Show on the Hottest Live Radio. By all means, please go and download the app on your Google Play for your Android users, and for you iPhone users, go to your iTunes App Store. I apologize. And download the app and check us out, y'all. And also, if you're listening and you want to see our faces and what we look like, listen to this show and then just watch us on Facebook Live. That way we kill 20 birds with one stone.
20 birds, definitely.
20 birds. That's how we do.
Right quick, before we move on, I need everybody to just kindly look at everybody that's on Facebook Live, go to the bottom left of your screen, and there's a button that says SHARE, share. Right now, just take a couple minutes. Just hit that button and share it on your timeline. Let the people know that we here. Can you do us that favor?
Please do that for us, y'all. Hey, Halima Skiles. I think Halima's old classmate, San Antonio, Texas, maybe. Pauline says, Eli, I'm a thug and a Sunday school teacher. Pauline, let me like that. You got that.
Right. Oh my gosh.
If we have anybody out there that's a thug and a Sunday school teacher, give us a call.
Exactly.
302-272-9772 and join the conversation,
we need to get them on the show. A thug. And I'm going to your church. What church is you at?
That's the church that's going to get shot up.
Right, exactly. Oh my gosh.
It's a different day. There ain't no honor amongst thieves anymore. Yeah. Gangbangers killing on Sundays.
Shout out to Marcus Dean, crazy. Marcus, go to bed.
Hey, Gwen.
Shout out to Tubu Harris. Hey, John, too, baby. Nice to see you. Shout out to Brittany Thompson. New York is in the building.
Okay. KL Lily, Youngstown, Ohio.
Yes.
Let's get it tonight.
Let's get it. Come on, y'all. The numbers is going up on Facebook Live. Let's
share.
Higher. Shout out to the Hottest Live. Our numbers have been going through the roof since our first show.
Definitely shout out to y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in and rocking with us. And let's get into the topic. What are we talking about tonight, Nelly B?
All right, let me get to that because I'm all over the place up here. But tonight, you got it up? Hit us up.
Well, tonight, y'all. All right, so tonight we're talking about real sex versus porn sex. And also we're going to delve into the signs that sex is more than physical to him. So now, this subject really came from a conversation I had with a young lady. She had a friend. She had a guy she was dealing with. And she said that he was, very well endowed. But she said, he was packing, but he didn't know how to use it.
Right.
She said he watched a lot of porn. And so his idea of making love to a woman was based off of pornography. So, in porn, they show up, everybody's ready to go. They're aroused, and men normally just get right to it. And she says that's how he tried to treat her. And she was like, listen, it doesn't work that way. Like I'm a woman. I want to feel like a woman. Don't treat me like. Don't try to ram your penis down my throat.
Exactly.
Don't try to slap me in the face with your penis like this. And he's really living out his porn fantasies in real life. So that's what kind of manifested this topic tonight. So we know in real life,
Right.
in everyday real life, whether you're in a relationship or whether married or whatever, it doesn't necessarily work that way. Now it can, if that's what you guys are into,
Right.
but it doesn't necessarily work that way.
And it's funny because actually I had somebody else tell me they're of the African culture. They're from Africa, and the boyfriend is very well endowed as well. And he was like, all he does is beat her coochie up. And he tells her she doesn't know how to be romantic. And she's like, Nelly, like, is it me? Am I missing something? And I'm like, no. Because if he's just beating it up, he's not even dealing with foreplay. And this has nothing to do with porn. I told her that there's something else going on with him. Because he's not into the intimate part of her. He's not into the foreplay or even trying to pleasure her. He's just like beating her up. And she said to me, she was like, it's kind of like some porn stuff, but I'm not into that. So DK just asked a question and said, but can't real sex be porn sex?
You know what? I think if you guys have an understanding, but if one of you trying to be a porn star and the other one is just being, you're regular every day, this is how I have sex or make love, then that's going to be a problem.
Right. Right.
Skip Waller, you wild boy. Shout out to Keisha, Renee, Lee, and James. What up, Keisha? But I think it definitely can. It definitely can be, but you both have to be on the same page.
Yeah, it has
and
to
be willing.
Communication has to be there.
Has to be communicated.
But one thing I always say, even with the for those who don't know, but the Facebook followers, for the hottest live followers that's now tuning in, we also do different sexuality classes. So with the How to Give a Good Head class, the one that I particularly teach, I always tell the ladies, stop trying to be Pinky the porn star. Because we see stuff on porn and we try to give oral sex the way we see it on porn. And it's like everyone can't do that. So you do what works for you. So I do think porn to some degree is fictional, but it's a case-by-case basis because everybody can't be Pinky. But we go in the bedroom and we try to take penises down our throats and eating vaginas the way we see it on porn, and then we wonder why we're not successful at it. You got to go according to your ability.
But is porn ruining sex, like for everyday people, in real life? Because to me, when I'm watching porn, we know they're actually having sex. Right. But that's not real life.
It's really not.
People aren't in the back of a van riding down the I-5 in L.A. getting busy. Right. On a regular. Right. So with these expectations that with social media and with porn, is that ruining the expectations in the bedroom?
Shout out to Julianne Parsons, hey baby, and Lynette. Hey Julianne,
what up, Lynette?
Thank you for tuning in, baby.
Priscilla Small, Isabel in the building.
Hey, what's happening? I don't think porn is ruining sex, but people watching porn and doing, setting these unrealistic expectations is what's ruining sex. We watch porn and we feel like we have to be that extra to really show that we're enjoying it. I remember I was watching this one porn back in college, and it just totally threw me off. And I was just like, I'm so over it. This Hispanic girl, she had came in, the typical, what you call them people? The handyman. He came in the crib, the normal, corny, oh my gosh. And he sat on the couch, and she got on top of him, and she straddled him. And she began to ride him backwards on the couch. And literally, as the penis entered the vagina, she was like, oi, oi. I was like, whoa, he didn't even get in there yet.
Oi?
Yes. I would never forget it. Because I was like, I was so thrown. Her oys just turned me all the way off.
How do you spell oi?
I don't know. O-Y-E. I don't know.
Is that a word?
But she just immediately, just all this extraness. And I'm like, her vagina wasn't even wet. I mean, his penis was dry as a whistle. And I'm like, okay. So that really just turned me off to porn.
That's horrible porn right there.
It really is.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of women, we feel like, too, when we get into bed with a guy, we have to be that extra. We the OS's and we cussing and we fussing. And you really ain't even feeling it like that.
Wow.
But because porn sets a certain expectation, or because we think this is what we have to live up to, this is what we do.
You know what? Let me shout out to Neosha. I'm gonna read JF's comment.
Neosha.
Then I have a comment too. JF says sex and making love is totally different. You must know who your partner is and what is their level of maturity. I absolutely agree. Then that's the part of the communication we were kind of talking about earlier. If one of you are into, choking or tying somebody up, and the other person has been abused or they were tied up when they literally and molested, and you don't know that person. Right. That's not going to work. That's going to become a situation. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that right there, communication is definitely the key. Right. Lynette says you need to watch Better Porn, Nelly.
You're right. I was in college. I mean, hey, it was probably like one of them rinky-dink porn sites or something.
That Girls Gone Wild.
Something.
Remember that?
Yes, I do. Shout out to Letitia Gillespie. Hey, honey.
What up, Tish? So Nelly, let me ask you this. Why women? So I've heard guys, when talking with the guys, and we're just talking about sex and women, in the beginning, women do come to the bedroom as porn stars. Right. They are pinky. Right. They are lethal lips. Mm-hmm. They are. Let me stop. Let people know how much I watch porn. In my old days. Right. Back in your unsaved days. Back in my unsaved days, before God came and cast His light down on me. But anyway. But in the beginning, women do come to the situation. They come to the bedroom and they are porn stars. Right. And then as things go along, and I know the same can be said about men, but right now I'm asking you. Okay. And the women on the feed. Once things are going along, how come you're no longer the porn star you were in year one that you're now you're not that person in year 5? Like, what happens?
You get comfortable.
I don't want to accept the word comfortable in this situation.
But it's true, though. Just like anybody else and anything else, you get comfortable. You've proven your point. You threw it down like Pinky, like whoever, Lethal Lips and all of them. And now that you got them, now that y'all are together, it's like I don't got to put that much work in no more because he knows what I made him. Not saying it's okay. Okay. Okay, no, I'm not saying that it's okay at all. Because I believe whatever you do to get him, you got to keep doing to keep him.
Amen.
That's just my thing.
Sounds like a blues song to me.
Is it? Yeah, come up with that. But yeah, that's what I believe.
DK says, "Can we get some Jada Fire?" But yeah, I think okay, I'll accept the word comfortable to a degree. But if you were doing these things in the beginning, then apparently you like that too, right? So why would you stop doing what gets you off too?
Same reason why when we start dating a man, he may not have a fly car, but he'll borrow his friend's car to impress you.
No way.
The representative. The representative. And plus, a lot of men and women, they talk a lot of smack in the beginning of their relationships or when they're dating. Like, yeah, I laid on you like this. And now we was talking about this in the car. And I eat it like that. Nah, da-da-da-da. So they have a point to prove. Right. So now when I get into bed, I got to perform my best. Now when I've gotten you, I ain't got to prove my point no more.
Right. I think DK agrees with you. He says, I think everyone presents their best self first, but after a certain time, your true self starts to exert itself. Mm-hmm. And the only reason I take issue with that, because if these are the things you were doing in the beginning and you like the way it makes you feel, right, then even still, why stop? That's all I'm saying.
Well, let's look at it.
I got to get my boy's car back because it ain't my car.
But exactly. So maybe we really don't like it. We're just doing it because like DK said, it's our way of, proving ourselves to you. It's our way of making our best impression. So not necessarily that we like it, but I'm impressed.
Well, that's whack though. Chick. So then you're not being true to who you are.
Welcome to the world of dating.
No, well, true. I guess I'm not dating, so I don't.
Well,
I don't
not
know.
you, but I'm just saying.
That to me, that's whack. Because if you are into something, why would you? If you're not into something, that takes a lot of effort to put that big front on and pretend like I'm into you choking me or tying me up at the bedpost, and I know that freaks me out in real life. Right. Come on, man. That's crazy.
It is, but people do it every day. They do it every day, whether just to be accepted, whether just to be liked, whether they just think that this is what you want. And a lot of people do that. They tell you what you want to hear, or they do what they think you want.
Yeah, that's crazy though. That's you doing yourself a disservice.
Absolutely.
In the end.
But it happens.
Right. Lynette says, "Oh, I'm still nasty. F all that. Unless you have a new belly." She's so hung up on a man.
And bellies.
Lynette, listen. A man at some point may have a stomach as you get older.
Yeah. Just might. Shout out to Nicola Brown. Hey, Auntie. Thank you for tuning in.
Wow. JM says, right, Eli, it's going to become a situation. You will become the victimizer, and they're going to blame you for all that has befell them during their incidents. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So people need to really take heed to that stuff.
Right.
Marcus Dean, oh God. I'm going to say Marcus' comment. Sherelle says, agree. It's the first impression that locks you in. Once you've been caught, most people allow their freakiest thoughts and actions to go.
Mm-hmm.
That, that is true. The beginning is the absolute bomb.
Right. Always.
And if that could be ever maintained, I think we'll have a lot of successful relationships out here. Maybe a little less cheating. Yeah. Now, of course, as you get older, things do change.
Absolutely.
You change, your body change.
But that's where the communication comes in. That's
right.
where we communicate. That's where we come to understand the changes that we're going through. And then we learn new ways to deal with the changes together as a couple. Not one person change and then just forget about the next person.
No, you're absolutely right.
I think we talked about it in the show before when we asked, my brother had actually asked this lady, they've been married for years, and he was like, how did your marriage succeed? And she said the key is to not fall out of love at the same time.
Wow. And
I thought that was awesome. And I think that also comes with, again, the communication. And even when we change sexually, we have to be able to communicate that with our mates. And again, figure out a way to please each other without being selfish.
That is true. And you know what? And sex is probably the most selfish act outside of finances that come up within a relationship. Mm-hmm. If you think about it, because a lot of times you have people in relationships and somebody's not being pleased, but they won't say anything,
right?
Or somebody just there and they take care of their business and for 3 or 4 minutes and they out and they're not worried about you.
Exactly.
So that is a very thank y'all for the love. There's a definite a selfish thing. Sex can be very selfish.
It
absolutely
can be. How do we deal with the sex part? And this was a question that was brought to me. How do we deal with the sex when disabilities are involved? Because I have a client who actually brought it to my attention. She had a hysterectomy and then she had some other medical conditions. And she's been with her significant other now for 20-something years. She's an older lady. But ever since the medical issues have now transpired, she said they have not had sex in a year. And she was in my office going crazy, y'all. She was like, he ain't even touch me. Wow. He ain't kiss me. And I'm like, well, have you talked to him about it? She said, I'm tired of damn talking. And she's losing her mind. I'm like, yeah, you can see the sexual frustration. But
so who has some medical issues? Him or her? She does.
She
okay.
does. But he's still able to do, certain things.
Right.
It may take a little extra work because of her back, the surgery she had on her back, and she had a hysterectomy, but she still has her womanly feelings.
Right.
But she's tried to talk to him, but we talking about the selfish part, and he's kind of. I haven't talked to the husband yet, but I think the attraction is gone. And she did tell me she has gained some weight since everything has transpired. So, I mean,
isn't that when love is supposed to conquer all?
Yeah.
when the person isn't as like if you've been with them when they were Janet Jackson and now they Freddie Jackson. Isn't that when love is supposed to conquer all?
Freddie Jackson.
Yeah, they definitely have a situation. They got some things to work through.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. From Diana Ross to Rick Ross. Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem.
Shout out to Renee, Freddie, my cousin. Thank you for tuning in, Renee, and congrats on the wedding. She just got married as well. My cousin Renee. Thank you for tuning in, baby. Yeah, so I think when it comes to sex, like you said, it could be a very selfish act. It can be. And whether you Pinky the porn star or Patricia from down the street,
right?
If the communication isn't there, then it's going to become a problem. It's going to be a problem.
Yeah, that's hard. Right. J.F. Clay says, if you are a true religious leader in today's time, you must be or become a sex therapist to help save sincere relationships. So do J.F. and jump back in here on this. And Nelly, I'm asking you this too because I know you're a woman of high faith.
Yes.
And you talk to folk within the church. Do people come to religious leaders when it not just marital issues, finances and this stuff like that, but when it comes to the intimate details like your sex life?
Right.
Do people come to their religious leader and have those kind of talks?
I think it depends upon the relationship with their religious leaders because we know typically you don't talk about that stuff. It's a stigma. You don't dare talk about penis or vagina in the church or regarding a religion or whatever your faith is. So typically, no. But with this new age, I think there are a lot more spiritual leaders that are opening themselves up to that avenue because they're now understanding that it's more than just the spiritual aspect when we're dealing with people of the faith. And like I told you guys before, my particular church, that's something that we do. And thankfully, with agreements with my pastor, I've been able to work with some of the members on a clinical side.
Right.
Because I agree with what JF's saying, but a lot of these spiritual people, religious leaders, they have to get the training because they're not trained on how to deal with sex and natural things. A lot of religious leaders have their trainings in the religious, aspect of
Right,
life.
right. Okay. DK says, can anyone maintain a relationship from the newness stage until 20 years later? Realistically, we change and evolve. I agree communication is the key and staying in tune with your partner. Can you maintain that newness 20 years later? Wow.
I think so. I plan on it.
I mean, yeah, everybody plans on it. I planned on being rich by my current age. But,
right.
I mean, it just hadn't happened yet.
But I honestly think it depends on the openness of the relationship. The openness and the ability to work at that. Because when you know when things are starting to go stale. Now, can we be mature enough to sit down and say, okay, this ain't really how it used to be, so now what can we do to spice it up? I think if you keep that communication open and the realness open in the relationship,
right,
it's possible. But it has to be both parties. Okay,
let me say this to you then, and then we'll definitely read some comments. So let's say it's 2005, right?
Right.
You just got that brand new 325i. Whatever BMW, whatever number they were making in 05, right?
Right.
You love that car. You clean that car every week. The interior, nobody could pull a French fry out in that car. Right. You're not even allowed to go to the drive-thru and put that bag in the car.
Right.
Windows always clean, the whole nine. Now we're in 2015.
Right.
This car, you don't feel the same way about that car. And I'm not, and I know people are like, oh, he's making relationships cars.
Yeah, you can't.
But in essence, you don't feel the same. You don't feel the same affinity for that car that you did 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah, now you watch it every once in a while. Now the kids are eating in there, stains on the seat, and you clean it here and there.
Right.
The windows are dirty. Mm-hmm. You barely change the oil. So things are different. So how can, and like with relationships, how do you maintain that newness in a relationship? And you don't even do that with a vehicle.
But you can't compare a vehicle to a relationship. Because a vehicle can't. No, you can't. Because a vehicle can't contribute back the way a person would. A vehicle
men take cars very serious.
I agree, and but a car is not going to pleasure you like
R.
your
Kelly
wife
made
would.
a song. You remind me of my Jeep.
Okay, yes, you remind me.
Let's keep it funky.
Of my
Men
Jeep.
compare relationships to cars,
but like realistic. Okay, we're talking about porn sex versus real sex. Okay, so we're talking about car sex versus real sex. A car cannot pleasure you. You take pleasure in your vehicle, which is great, but your car is not sucking your penis. Your car is not giving you vagina.
Your car, yes, your car will bring the girls to.
Okay, but if you're in a relationship, we're not talking about being a whore. Exactly, we're talking about being in a relationship. Okay. Your car is not going to pleasure you.
My point is, when the new cars, whether the new car smell is in a new car or if the new car smell is on a relationship, when that wears off, how do you possibly maintain that newness 10, 15, 20 years in?
Through work, hard work. Just like you maintain your body. You want to keep your body in shape 15, 20 years later, what you got to do? Put in the work. You can't just wish it on. You can't just wish it. You have to eat right. You got to work out. You got to put the work in. Same thing with a relationship. Shout out to Prentice Hall. Thank you for tuning in.
No doubt. And if you want to join the conversation, y'all, pick up that phone, dial 302-272-9772. We'll bring you on. We love to hear what you have to say. For all our Hottest Live Radio listeners, check us out. Give us a call, y'all.
Absolutely.
Lynette's back to the belly. If it don't block the goods, I'm cool. But if I can get that 2-ball love potion because your stomach is in the way, then I don't want it. LOL. What in the world is the 2-ball love potion? That's some new shit right there.
See, she's obsessed with that stomach. Corey said, what did Marcus say? Everybody's telling Marcus to go to bed.
Marcus, he said, yes, it do, Eli. Love must conquer all. I had 32 teeth when we met. Now I'm down to a couple, but we still love each other. They still together.
I cannot.
That's love right
Marcus,
there.
Go to bed.
Salute
go to bed.
to Mr. and Mrs. Mullen right
Marcus
there,
says, yes, DK, it can happen. My wife and I are a great example. We had sex with the refrigerator open today and 25 years ago. Marcus, I can't stand you.
Yo,
I really can't.
This guy, he's bugging.
Corey said, but you can get all that in your car.
Exactly. Same point Skip made.
Okay, right. If you're being a whore, yes. But if you're in a committed relationship, you're not worried about getting all of that in your car. Am I correct? No, you're not. That means you're not being faithful, Skip. Call that out.
So
thank you for thank you, Akeisha, for putting the number up there again. If you want to call in and talk to us live here on Get Moxie, the Lifestyle Talk Show, the number is 302-272-9772. We'd love to hear your voice and your input on this topic. Tonight we are talking about
real sex versus porn. Oh, real sex versus porn sex.
Yes.
And let's get into, we had a subtopic regarding this. And
signs that sex is more than just physical for him. So fellas, talk to us real quickly. And this was a question that was brought to me from a young lady. How do you know when the sex is more than just physical to the males? And women, of course, we love to have your input as well. How do you know when sex is more than just a physical thing for him? We want to know that because we know men are very physical beings. We know that, right?
Well, I'm a man. Maybe I could talk about it.
You a man? Okay.
Yeah, you can say I'm a man. When I take all my clothes off to prove my manhood.
Go ahead.
Now, if Skip wasn't in here, I'd get butt naked.
Oh, God, no. We don't want you to do that.
Look, hey, I'll take it. I have to take everything off except one sock.
Oh, my gosh.
Lord.
We are not putting penises on our foreheads.
Right. Hey, that's what she wanted, right? We're talking to the producer in our ear, y'all, if you're wondering who the heck we're talking to.
Yeah, he's a mess.
But
we're talking about signs that sex is more than physical for a man. How do we know that? And that was a question again. Somebody had proposed, a female had proposed to us, and wanted to know the answer to that. Because we all know, and we talked, and I think Lynette and I were talking about this a little bit earlier. Lynette said something about men are not going to just eat your butt and eat your butt like groceries. We all know this song. And it's not something that's intimate. And we were talking about this in the car. Men and women alike are offering oral sex as a luxury, as just because, at your leisure, in this generation.
Right. It's tricky now. Because where before, you would hear girls say, or you would hear guys say, I'll only go down on when I get married. Right. I only go down on my wife.
Right.
Or, a woman, I only give my husband head. I got to save that for him. Mm-hmm. And now, we talk a lot about, even on our Get Moxie page,
right.
About, right now the thing is everybody wants to eat the behind. Mm-hmm. And it's popular. People are asking for it, and people are doing it.
Right.
So I think these things have become regular and normal, where before they were held in a high regard or in a certain place for a certain person.
I agree. And I just said, I don't know, I was talking to Eli in the car, and I said, maybe I'm just a square. But I'm not performing no oral on you if you just a jump off. Meaning, we're not in a committed relationship. We're not just it's not just me and you. We're not exclusive. If I decide to go there, and this is just Nellie's preference, I feel like that's something, first of all, that if I'm going to do, let me do. Don't ask me for it.
Right.
First and foremost. I'm going to give it to you because that's something I want to do. That's first. But secondly, just for me to be like, hey, what's up? I don't just want to be bad. Come let me give you some head. Absolutely not. I don't understand how people actually think that's okay. And I have had advances as such as well. And I didn't accept it.
Don't men offer all the time? Ladies, to help me out.
Yes,
I know dudes all the time that says, yo, let me eat you.
Yeah.
They say these things to women. And you don't even know. She could have just got off a damn toilet at a porta potty. People are just offering up their mouth.
It's absolutely correct.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
So because of this new, we call it mentality or whatever you want to call it now, it's real. How do you really tell when somebody is digging you and it's more than a physicality?
I think you have to really go by how a person. You hear people all the time. Don't tell me, show me.
Right.
I think with women, you really have to show them by how you treat them.
Because if a man is giving us oral sex, some women feel like, oh, he's in love with me. He's going to marry me tomorrow.
No.
But you ain't know that he just gave your best friend oral sex too in the other office.
But I'm just going to say remove that aspect of it out of the way. When I say show a woman, when a woman would know when you finally do give him some, it's not just a physical thing. I think a man, when a man is treating you a certain way and he's, you know when a man is into you. And if he ain't even stressing you about sex, for number one, if he's really into you, then he'll be patient and everything will move on your time. I think from how I did back in the day,
Right.
if I really really like you, then I'm not going to press you for anything because I don't want to take any chance of losing you
Right.
or pushing you away.
Mm-hmm.
So women, you guys are hella smart. So you know when a dude is really into you, and I think what happens is well, a lot of times when a woman knows that a man is really into her, then she almost feels when he's being really sweet and he's opening doors and he's taking you out and you met his family. I think women almost feel obligated to give a man some at that point,
Right.
instead of still allowing the situation to grow and develop.
Right. Right.
You know.
I agree because that's in this generation. It's looked at when you give up the coochie, I can keep him. Like that's the magic
Right.
key. But realistically, it's not because once he get it, he's out the front door. And then the women are coming to see me. Akeisha says, when you cuddle afterwards, that's how you know that a man is digging. Well, it's more than just physical for him.
When you lay there in the stickiness and this soft man is laying on your thigh, he's into you. Because most dudes, they up and they out. They trying to get the wash off on.
I don't know. Back in my unsaved days, yesterday I've had jump offs where they would sit in the stickiness with they dick limp to the side, and we was nothing more than just jump offs.
Marcus, because I didn't say ass. Marcus says, eat the behind. What the hell is it behind? You know what it is. He says that they're the ass, Eli.
It's the butthole, Marcus.
Lynette, be quiet. Yeah.
Yes, shout out to Corey Van. He said, or the back door.
The back door.
It's crazy.
Whatever you want to call it.
I know the older generation is like, what in the world? Because you don't discuss this stuff back in the day.
This is Get Moxie. We discuss these things present day.
Candid conversation.
Somebody needs his help.
DK said, I'm just saying, some men offer that as an easy way to get some sex or a way to bypass proper foreplay. I guess there are some guys who just love doing that too. And there's nothing wrong if you love doing it, that's fine.
Right.
But you don't just go around offering that. You don't know what they're working with. At least if you're having intercourse, you can put a condom on and protect yourself a little bit. But you just going around offering to give oral, that's your mouth. You want to put a condom around your mouth. Right. And nobody's using saran wrap anymore to eat vaginas. You know what I'm saying? They just going for what they know. So I'm just like, how is it okay to just be like, hey, let me eat your pussy?
And like DK said, a lot of dudes, in their mind, I know if I do that, she gonna want some dick. So now, this is my gateway into getting it. But I gotta really, really be digging you.
Exactly.
Like, I gotta really be digging you for us to go.
My mom used to say, where's your coof? You ain't got no coof about yourself.
You're such not a lady.
Right. You have no coof. Good God. But so what are some more ways that you could tell that a man is more than just physical for him? Somebody said here, when he's not in the mood, he still wants to touch you.
Okay, that's fair. I agree with that. Like because men, when you really like a woman, you're always touching her if you're close to her. Right. You're always showing signs of affection. Mm-hmm. Like even dudes who say, "Nah, I ain't there holding hands tight." Right, affectionate. Yeah, or any of that. But when you are really into a woman, there is some kind of, if you're within touching distance, right, there is some kind of touching and intimacy or a look. Right. There's something going on all the time. Right. Okay. Yeah. And can that be maintained for 20 years, DK? I have no idea.
It can be with the appropriate work.
I'll let you know.
You gotta put the work in. I believe it can. You just have to put the work in. But we in this generation that we take the easy way out for everything. We take the easy way out for everything. Nobody wants to put in work anymore. Look at the weight loss. Nobody wants to work out. Just get a surgery. You know what I mean? Just get a surgery. Nobody wants to, i.e., we don't want to make our hair grow. Just throw some fake hair on it. I'm queen at changing up my hair. But, so we take the easy way out for everything.
Why are you looking at my hair?
Because, you make it grow. Put some hair on it. But just like DK says, we want to bypass foreplay. We don't want to work it up. We don't want to get the endorphins running. We don't want to do it. We just want to get straight to it. So I'm just eat her cooch real quick.
But that's this generation. That's everything. The whole microwave generation.
We don't have to adapt to that.
We don't have to adapt to that, but we have. We all are guilty of being a product of that generation in some facet of our life.
Well, hopefully today it'll change.
Well, hopefully it will.
Some insight to this.
Take your time.
Get some insight to this thing. Get some insight. Corey says, "Old blister mouth summer." Right. Ooh. Just going around eating stuff. Stop, y'all. Come on. Sherelle says, right. That's exactly why you run the other way. They probably have blisters all in the mouth. JF says there will be a secretion of chemicals that intertwine and piques the intuitive senses, releasing a visual experience of what is and what can and shall be.
Wow.
Yeah. Did you understand all that, Eli?
Are you turned on by that statement right there? Yes, you are.
No.
I know you like big words.
I do.
And you like intelligent
But I like
men.
big penises too. I'm just saying. Oh.
I don't know how we even got to that right there.
Just saying.
If you want to download the app, look, now's a good time for that. If you want to download the app for the Hottest Live Radio, please go to your Google Play Store or your iTunes App Store, and you can find us there, and you will be able to not only hear us, but all the other programming that goes on here at the Hottest Live Radio. And as we get back into the flow. So let me ask you this.
Yes.
DK said something earlier. I think it was DK said something earlier. He said, can real sex be porn sex? Mm-hmm. And we touched on that a little bit. So as I'm sitting here thinking, I said communication is the key. Right? Now, if you have a person that's willing to do some things, just say if you have a fetish, you always want to tie somebody up, or you always want to suck her toes or something, whatever you're into.
Right.
But sometimes she's with that, sometimes she's not. Mm-hmm. How do you handle it? How would you handle it when you're into a particular thing like all the time? You always want to do this, but your partner isn't. Right. Like should there be a compromise on your behalf? Should you, what should the person who wants this sexual experience, how should they handle it when if their partner isn't with it? It
should be a compromise. And honestly, this should be established again before y'all even get into the place of already being intimate. And I think that's where a lot of issues come in, because we don't talk about that stuff.
Right.
And I think once there's an understanding that we can come to a compromise, either we can work this out or we can't, so we don't even bother to get involved. Because certain people, and I've heard a couple of men say, head is mandatory for them to be in a relationship. It's a requirement. I have heard that, and I'm not even going to lie to you. I have heard that. And I look at these men like, wow, really? Like, if his girl does not give head, he's not getting with her. But I'm like, that kind of stuff has to be discussed prior to you guys jumping into bed. Because then after you jumped into bed and now things are where they need, where they're going, now you want to make changes and you expect the old dog to learn new tricks. It's kind of hard. Not to say it's impossible, but it's kind of hard. Just saying.
It's not hard. It's not impossible, but it can be hard.
It can be. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
What's Lynette's quoting the scripture?
Shout out to Isabel Duran. Thank you for tuning in, love.
Hey, Issa.
She's quoting scriptures.
Oh, I guess I don't know. I don't know what she's doing. Marcus says, when we lay between your legs after sex, still with the common sweat and ass juice, that's a clean indication that is real love.
Is that right? I must have been in love a lot in my lifetime. And I missed that. Because I don't know. I mean,
you know what though? The best way you can tell if a man is if it's just more than the physical. Again, if he lays there with you, if he wants to hold you, if he wants to see you off to sleep, so to speak.
Right.
If he's not jumping up and heading to take his little whore bath and hit the door.
Well, what if he ain't got nowhere to go?
Well, then that's a whole nother issue.
Or he might be waiting for you to take him back home because he ain't got no whip.
Then
it's real. Tell me it ain't real.
Well, that's a whole nother issue. That is real. That happens. Just like dudes pick up girls and bring them to the crib. Sometimes women have to pick up the D and bring it to the house.
And then we think we in love because he's laying in the bed and our juices together.
He just ain't got the money for that Uber.
Exactly.
That Uber is something. Mm-hmm. It ain't as cheap as it started out to be. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I guess so. Men, you know what? We're as simple as we are, we're complicated.
Absolutely.
In our own way.
Yeah.
Because most of us, if you sit down and talk to us, we're simple as a bucket of corn.
Right.
But then on the other hand of that, when it comes to dealing with women, it's kind of like, just like y'all, like we are all over the place.
Right.
Women claim, I know women for the most part claim they always know what they want. And then when it's right in front of them, they don't even take advantage of it. There's always this one little thing, that's keeping you away from him.
Like that big belly Lynette.
Or the big belly. but he has a job.
Right.
And he has a car. And he has his own house.
And he's saved, sanctified, and
filled with the Holy Spirit. You say you want a God-fearing man.
Right.
But now he's all these things wrapped into one, but he has a little bit of gut.
Right.
That's what do you want, women? That's ridiculous.
But then it also goes to what you were just saying, men, what do y'all want? Because last week on the show, we were talking with Corey when he was here, and he was saying a valid point. What's wrong with just being nice? You know, what's wrong with just being nice when he buys her flowers? You know, and I get that. I understand that. You know, okay, you buy flowers just being nice, but is that a sign that he likes her and it's more than the physical thing for him?
I think that it depends on how women interpret that.
Right.
Right? Like, I think women interpret. If you don't have a woman that is secure with herself and confident, then anything that she may get from a man, if she's never gotten it before, then it automatically means more to her in her head than what it really is.
So how would you know that picking up a chick in the club with one arm because she looks good, because she smells good? How do we know that? How do we decipher that? Shout out to GE. Thank you for tuning in, GE.
How do we, wow.
How do we, decipher that she's a secure chick and she won't take the fact that I lay in our nut juice together and assume that that's love in your mic?
It comes down to communication. Okay. Ask for what you want. Tell them what your expectations are. Now, I'm not saying, I had a conversation with somebody earlier, and, they were saying you got to be careful sometimes with men, because if you tell them too much too soon, they freak out. Mm-hmm. Now, I, to a degree, that might be right, but I think it's how you do it.
Right.
Because
men are very sensitive. They're very sensitive. Their egos bruise easily, so women, we have to proceed with caution when it comes to telling them what we want. We can't tell them too much or too hard that we want that dick. We got to be subtle with it, because then we ruin their manhood. But yeah, they the man.
You're exaggerating a little bit right there, but
what? You and Corey just said it last week. If a woman be like, listen, I don't want no strings attached. I don't want to be a girl. I just want you to dig my back out. Y'all like clutching my pearls. Oh my God.
Oh, so we got pearls now?
Yeah, I got pearls. Y'all boyfriends.
I think y'all be trying to make us look like some suckers sometimes.
No, some women know just what they want. Some women know, listen, I don't want no strings attached. I just want this and that, and that's it.
Well, you might be right, but let me say this.
JF says, what men have you been dealing with, Nelly? Delaware men.
You just painted.
I gotta go back to New York.
I'm proud to say I'm not a native.
Right.
But nevertheless, I think if you're not used to aggressive women, what quote unquote aggressive women, then that will take you aback a little bit.
But why does it have to be aggressive? Can it be assertive? We can't know what we want and just ask for it without y'all being intimidated?
Well, let's be clear. Assertive and aggressive are cousins. They first cousins.
But they're not the same.
They got the same grandma.
One is approached with respect. The other one isn't. The other one doesn't care about your respect.
But even the assertiveness, okay, I'll lend you that right there. But if you've always been the person that's done the chasing, think about it. Like that old saying, it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. When the rabbit is now hunting the hunter,
right?
He don't know what to do. He's never been in that position.
But at the end of the day, we all gonna win.
But if you've never been right at the end of the day, but if you've never been hunted, then you don't know how to handle that. You don't know how to be the prey.
You better learn real quick. It's your opportunity.
Or subtle hints, let it marinate on his spirit, and then he's gonna come holler at you, right?
Can y'all see my face? Hottest live, y'all can't see my face, but it's all types of screwed up right now. Okay, nobody got time for that. Listen, but so. Any other advice as to how can a woman know if a man it's more than just physical for a man? And I'm just gonna give my little 2 cents. I honestly think it's gonna just be from spending time with him, really seeing where things go, not assuming, and not going off of feelings, but going off of the facts. I think that's something that a lot of us women, we do all the time. We go for the feelings, not the facts,
right?
And then we assume things. And then we get caught up emotionally, and then we wonder why we're in this emotional roller coaster. So my advice is just spend more time with him, because honestly, there's really no sign. Because, like, y'all were talking about last week, you may just give me flowers just because you think I'm nice, or just because you like me. But in my head, we done got married and had 16 kids together.
But do women overthink kind gestures?
Yes.
Like, so it's not just on us to make you understand where we are.
Right.
You have to kind of like, that's a part of mentally and emotionally taking it slow. We always talk about taking it slow physically and getting to know someone before we have sex with them.
Right.
But we never talking about taking it slow mentally and emotionally.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? So we have to start doing that. Don't let those red roses make you think you get married in 3 months.
Right.
Because if I really dig you and I'm that kind of guy, you're going to get that anyway. Or if I'm just a nice guy and I think you good people, you might get some flowers.
Right.
Now,
or
I think there are
trash taken out too.
You might, but I think there are lines that you can't cross with a woman.
Talk about that.
I think there are lines you can't cross. Like, so, for example, if I live in this gated community, I'm going to use one of our friends for an example. I don't know if he's on there. But if I live in a gated community and there's a passcode to my residence, right? And I give you that passcode for you to come in here whenever, but you and I haven't committed to you or any of that. But automatically, upon me giving you that passcode, or you giving me a key to the crib, I'm thinking, well, if we ain't exclusive, we about to be.
Exactly.
Because why would any other woman have that too if I have it? So there are lines you can't cross. You can't give it to Lisa, Renee, Cindy, and Pam. So because you don't want to get up and go to the door or call down the security to let them in.
Listen.
And now you got 3 women at the door, and they all have the passcode. And you're like, well, I told you I wouldn't. I'm single. I do what I want to do. Like, so I think that's just an example.
It's true.
But there are lines that you can't cross when it comes to being nice to women, because they will. Flowers, that's one thing. Giving you my key to my apartment or my house, that's a whole nother level.
Right. Well, I mean, and like women, we take things so out of pocket. Like, because he takes you to church with him, doesn't mean that you're the one. I mean, I'm just real talk. It doesn't mean you're the one. Just because now, okay, meeting his family members, maybe, okay.
That's a bit much, though, I think.
What, to church?
No, if you meet my family, I'm giving you the wrong impression if that's not where I'm trying to go with you.
I agree. No, I totally agree. I agree with that 100%. But I'm just saying something as simple as taking somebody to church with you does not mean that you are the one.
Right.
Or if he takes you to the office party, doesn't mean you're the one.
Right. And if I'm up there singing, Jesus is on the main line, and I'm only looking at you, don't get it twisted.
I can't.
That doesn't mean I'm marrying you because I'm looking at you as I sing Wade in the Water.
I can't. Marcus says when he cuts your grass in the snow, then his ass is into
Damn.
I'm dying.
You should get a ring.
All right, we got to wrap it up tonight.
What a way to wrap it up, though.
What a way to wrap it up. All right, so real quick, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for tuning in to Get Moxie, the Lifestyle Talk Show, right here on the hottest live radio, Eli.
Yes, and if you don't have that app, please download it on your iPhones. Go to your iTunes Apple Store. If you're Android users, go to your Google Play Store. You can download the Hottest Live app, Hottest Live Radio app. Please download that to your phone. You can catch us and all the other programming that goes on here at the Hottest Live. You can also follow Nelly B and I on a Get to Moxie, GETMOXIE Facebook page.
Definitely.
Yeah, you can follow us there and push your button so whenever we go live, you guys will be aware of it.
Definitely.
What else? Oh, go to the YouTube channel. You can see our past TV shows, our past radio shows, and all that good stuff on there. Put in Get Moxie in the search, and Nelly B and I will come up. Definitely. And here we are.
All right, y'all. Thank you guys for tuning in. Meet us here next week, same time, same place, right here at the Black Cat Studio. You're tuning in with the Get Moxie crew. I'm your host, Coach Nelly B, with the one and only, the Moxie Jen, Eli Isabel. Have a great night. I can't do it with my hair. Too much hair.
What's that, about 45 seconds? The
I think so. Well, Marcus is a whole fool.
he cutting up tonight. He said when he cuts your grass in the snow. Yo, yeah, he showed his ass tonight.
Always. Come on. Thank you, Facebook Live. We love y'all. Appreciate
Peace.
y'all.
Much love, y'all.